Right. So get this ready for a deep dive, folks, because today we are going deep into hypno channeling.
Okay.
With Hypno Vibes on YouTube.
All right.
Are you familiar with Hypno Vibes?
I am, yeah. Yeah, they're the ones with Naomi and Kim, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Naomi's a hypnotist,
Right.
and she's guiding Kim into a trance.
Okay.
And in this particular session, Kim is channeling
Oh, wow.
someone claiming to be the energy of Moses.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to kind of unpack that a little bit. But
Okay.
I think one of the things that I found really fascinating about this is this emphasis on unity and love.
Yeah.
And particularly in light of potential contact
Right.
with extraterrestrial beings.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right? It's almost like a get your act together, Earthlings company's coming.
Right, yeah, like a cosmic welcome mat.
Exactly.
Fair.
But even beyond that, I started thinking, well, why is that message of unity so important, not just for aliens, but for us here and now?
Well, I mean, one of the things that this channeled energy really emphasizes is that we need to break down the barriers we have between each other.
Yeah.
And this is especially important when it comes to dealing with extraterrestrial beings because they're more advanced and more unified.
So they're looking at us and saying, like, come on, guys, get it together.
Yeah, pretty much. They're saying, look at all this infighting you're doing.
Yeah.
You're squabbling over resources. You're dividing yourselves based on these arbitrary lines in the sand. You're not ready for prime time.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that the entity specifically calls out some aspects of religious doctrine that promote separation and fear, and specifically mentions Judaism and Zionism.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't necessarily say abandon faith altogether.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, let's look at what parts of this are really promoting compassion and connection.
Right.
And what parts are actually creating more division and fear.
Yeah.
So it's more about kind of a refinement of our beliefs.
It's getting to the heart of the matter.
Exactly.
What's the real message here? What are we really trying to accomplish? And I think that's a valuable exercise for anyone to go through, regardless of their beliefs.
And it goes beyond just our relationships with each other, right? Because the entity talks about sharing Earth's resources equally.
Yeah.
And even hints at soul contracts between humans and animals. So it's like this idea of unity isn't just limited to human interaction.
It spans outward.
Right.
It encompasses everything, all of existence.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So how does this all tie into this idea of extraterrestrial contact and...
Well, the entity suggests that humanity's readiness for contact with extraterrestrials hinges on our ability to raise our collective vibration to move beyond.
All right, so there's that phrase again, right? Raising our vibration.
Right.
So how do we actually do that?
Well, it starts with becoming more conscious of the beliefs we hold and asking ourselves if they truly serve our highest good and the good of humanity.
So it's about examining our beliefs and saying, okay, is this really helping?
Yeah.
Or is this actually hindering our progress?
Because a lot of the time we're operating on autopilot.
Yeah.
We've inherited these beliefs from our families, our culture, society at large, and we haven't really taken the time to examine them and see if they're actually serving us.
So it's like taking inventory of our mental and emotional baggage.
Exactly. And then choosing to let go of anything that's no longer serving us.
Okay.
And I think that's a really powerful message because it suggests that we have more agency than we realize.
It's not just fate.
Right.
We actually have a say in this.
We have the power to choose to create a better future.
So let's dive into some of the specifics of what this entity is saying.
Okay.
Because one of the things that kind of blew my mind was this claim that this entity came to Earth 18,000 years ago to help establish a kingdom of unity and love.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It makes you think about, okay, well, who is this entity really?
Right.
Is this really Moses, or is this some other higher consciousness? Or what's going on here?
I mean, it raises questions about the nature of time and consciousness, the possibility of souls returning to guide humanity through different eras.
And that's a whole other deep dive for another time.
Absolutely.
But sticking with this session, the details about extraterrestrials get pretty specific.
Yeah, they do.
They're watching us. They think we're ready.
They're saying we're on the cusp.
And open contact could happen in the next year or two.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what are we talking here? Are we talking spaceships landing?
Well, the entity suggests that we might see some craft near coastlines, maybe even places like Coney Island or Jones Beach.
So maybe not spaceships on the White House lawn, but
not necessarily.
Maybe some unusual sightings at the beach?
Possibly.
Okay.
And it also mentions hybrid beings already integrated into society.
Oh, wow.
Which is a really interesting concept.
So some of these folks walking around us might actually be...
It's possible.
Part extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically this happens.
That's right.
This contact does occur soon. How do you think the average person is going to react to that news?
I think it would be a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Some people would be excited.
Yeah.
Some people would be terrified. Some people would deny it altogether.
Right.
It would be a huge challenge to our worldview.
It makes you wonder if some people are already kind of primed for this, like...
Yeah, maybe they've had their own experiences.
Yeah, or they've always...
Or they just have this intuitive feeling that we're not alone.
Okay, and for others, it's going to be a real shock to the system.
And a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah, and the session even suggests that those who aren't ready for this contact might shift to a different timeline or reality.
That's right.
Which is a whole other...
It's a mind-boggling concept.
A whole other can of worms.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's see.
Makes you wonder about the nature of reality and our role in shaping it.
So we've got a lot to unpack here.
Yeah,
we've got this message of unity and love.
Right.
We've got potential extraterrestrial contact.
Right.
We've got this idea of soul contracts and all sorts of...
It's all connected somehow.
Yeah, it's all very fascinating.
It is. Yeah, it really is a lot to take in, isn't it?
It is. And I think what's really sticking with me is this idea of breaking down those barriers.
Yeah.
Not just, the obvious ones like nationality and religion, but even the barriers that we build within ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the session really emphasizes the importance of questioning those internalized beliefs that keep us separate, whether it's judging others, clinging to limiting self-perceptions, or holding on to fear.
So it's like we've got to do some inner house cleaning before we can welcome these intergalactic guests.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to say, though, this idea of these ETs watching us, assessing our readiness for contact, it's a little unnerving, isn't it?
It is thought-provoking, for sure. It makes you wonder what criteria they're using to gauge our readiness.
Right.
Are they looking for technological advancements, or is it more about our spiritual and emotional maturity?
Right. Are we
our capacity for love and understanding.
Yeah. Are we evolved enough to handle this?
Exactly.
Right. Maybe it's not about building bigger spaceships, but about expanding our consciousness.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
It's not just about technological progress. It's about our inner evolution.
Okay. So let's say you're someone who's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but how do I actually put this into practice?
That's a great question. And I think the session actually offers some guidance on that.
Okay.
It highlights the power of mindfulness, becoming aware of our thoughts and actions, and choosing those that align with love and unity.
So catching ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're about to judge someone.
Right.
Or when we're, getting caught up in negativity and choosing a different path.
Exactly. And it's also about actively seeking out opportunities to connect with others.
Okay.
To build bridges of understanding, to celebrate our shared humanity.
So it's like an active process.
It is. It's not just about avoiding negativity.
Right.
It's about actively cultivating positivity.
Okay. Those little acts of kindness.
Right.
That ripple effect.
Exactly.
That can create a more harmonious world.
Yeah, and it makes me think about the soul contract idea again. If we're connected to animals on a deeper level than we realize, does that change how we treat them?
Yeah.
How we view animal rights, factory farming?
Right.
All of that.
That's a big question.
It is. If we acknowledge the possibility of these soul agreements with our animal companions, it naturally leads to a greater sense of responsibility for their well-being.
So maybe this message of unity goes beyond just human-to-human connection.
I think so.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all life forms and treating each other with respect and compassion, regardless of species.
It's about expanding our circle of empathy
to
include all beings.
Okay, let's circle back to this extraterrestrial contact.
Okay.
Because I'm still trying to wrap my head around this idea that it could happen so soon.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is, and I'm curious, What do you make of this claim that some people might shift to a different timeline or reality if they're not ready for this contact?
Well, it's a really fascinating concept. It suggests that our consciousness plays a role in determining which reality we experience.
So it's not like these unready folks are going to, like, disappear?
Not necessarily. Yeah. It could be a more subtle shift.
Okay.
Maybe a change in perception, a different set of experiences.
So they might just kind of diverge onto a different path.
Yeah, a path that's more aligned with their current level of awareness.
Okay, so let's say for the sake of argument, I'm someone who's totally open to this idea of ET contact.
Right.
I'm excited about it. How would you suggest I prepare myself for this potential encounter?
Well, I think the session gives us some clues.
Right.
It comes back to cultivating inner peace. Yeah. Raising our vibration through acts of love and service, and embracing a mindset of curiosity and openness rather than fear.
No need to stock up on canned goods and build a bunker.
Probably not the best use of your time.
Okay.
I think the best preparation is inner work.
Right.
Fostering a sense of inner peace and connection.
Okay, so basically just be the best version of ourselves.
Exactly, and that will naturally attract positive experiences.
And maybe brush up on my intergalactic greetings.
That couldn't hurt.
But seriously, if we take this message to heart, if we genuinely strive for unity and love, maybe that's the best invitation we can offer to any extraterrestrial visitors who might be watching.
It's about creating a world that's welcoming, not just to beings from other planets,
right,
but to each other. So much to think about, huh?
It is a lot.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into hypno-channeling.
Yeah.
And the messages from this session with Naomi and Kim.
It's been a wild ride.
It has been. And you know, it might all sound a little bit out there for some folks.
Yeah.
But I think there's a real wisdom at the heart of it.
I agree.
Whether or not you believe that it's actually Moses speaking.
Right.
This call for unity and love and breaking down barriers. It's a universal message.
It is.
It resonates really deeply.
Yeah.
In our world right now.
Absolutely.
With so much division and conflict.
Yeah, it's a timely message for sure.
Yeah, it's like a wake-up call.
It is.
To remember that our true power lies in connection.
Right.
And in recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Yeah, it's about coming together instead of tearing each other apart.
And it's a call to action.
Right.
It's not just a nice idea.
It's about taking responsibility.
It's like, okay, what are we actually going to do about this?
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to get your take on this.
Okay.
If open contact with extraterrestrial beings does occur in the near future, how do you think humanity is going to respond?
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
It is a big question.
I don't know if anyone can really say for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a paradigm-shifting event.
Yeah.
It would challenge a lot of our fundamental beliefs about ourselves and the universe.
It would be like that moment when people realized the Earth wasn't flat, but on a
cosmic scale.
On a much grander scale.
Yeah. It would force us to confront our place in the cosmos, to acknowledge that we're not the center of everything.
And to really grapple with what it means to encounter beings that are potentially vastly different from us.
Yeah, with different technologies, different perspectives, different ways of understanding reality.
It's both exciting and terrifying.
It is.
At the same time.
A mix of awe and uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I think it would bring out the best and the worst in humanity.
Right.
You know, you'd have some people who are just
filled with wonder.
Yeah, filled with wonder and ready to connect and learn, and
others who are terrified and resistant to change.
And it all comes back to that central message from the session.
Right.
This importance of unity and love as the foundation for navigating this uncharted territory.
Absolutely. If we approach this potential encounter with fear and division, it's likely to be reflected in the interactions we have with these extraterrestrial beings.
But if we can cultivate that sense of unity, that willingness to understand and learn from those who are different from us.
Yeah.
It could open up some incredible possibilities.
It could.
For collaboration and growth.
Yeah, it's really up to us.
It is. It's a reminder that the future is not predetermined.
Right.
We have the power to shape it through our choices.
Through our actions.
And through our consciousness.
Exactly.
So for those who are intrigued by this whole world of hypno-channeling and consciousness expansion, definitely check out Hypno Vibes on YouTube.
They're great.
And Naomi Zhu's book, The Next Level.
Lots of fascinating insights there.
Yeah, and remember, whether or not you believe in channeling or extraterrestrial contact, this this core message of unity and love and breaking down barriers.
Yeah.
It's a timeless truth.
It is.
That can guide us all toward a more fulfilling future.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep choosing love.
Yeah, beautifully said. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive, folks.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep looking up.
And this time, I like to invite this energy to be here again. I know there's no time for you. So the energy of Moses, I like to ask you additional questions. So since the last conversation was very beneficial and we all learned a lot, and I have a little bit more I'd like to find out from you. And when I count to 3, this energy will come through. 1 and 2 and 3. Hello. Let me know when you're ready.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you for being here. And can you tell me why it seems it took some time?
Entering a new body.
So I know there are people like me. I'm not sure in what form, but you have been channeled before.
Yes.
Very good. And do you remember that we talked to you before through different body?
Yes.
So hopefully today we have less blockages. Again, I'd like to ask you if you have anything to tell this specific group of people, the Jewish people, the Jewish community. Any messages from you?
The time is arrived to shift to a more expansive mindset, a more universal standing of consciousness, to break outside of custom, to move outside of structured rules, to realize what aspects of your faith are serving you and what aspects are not, and to leave those aspects that are not behind, to embrace those aspects that draw you closer to other humans, Jews and non-Jews, to embrace those aspects that understand that all of us are part of the one, to embrace those aspects that teach compassion and kindness and love rather than fear, and reject those rules or those concepts that separate you from others, or that cause lines and divisions between you and other human beings and other forms of life. There are many wonderful things about your faith, but there are many things about it also that do not serve you and do not serve others.
When you say that, how they will be able to realize that?
Ask the question, is this promoting unity or separation? If it's promoting separation, it does not come from the source. It does not come from God. It comes from humans. Because God or source, all that it does not teach any type of division between human beings. It teaches oneness, unity, love, compassion. And there is a time where not only the Jewish people, but all of the faiths of the world have to realize this. They have to move beyond religious rules that are making them think they are separate from other people, that they are separate from other species, or they're separate from the earth itself, and realize everything is connected with one universal consciousness that is God, that is source, that is the one. And so it is not just the Jewish people, but people of all religious backgrounds who are realizing any aspect of their faith that preaches separation is coming from the minds of man and the minds of ego.
What do you like to say to the rabbis?
You are leaders in your communities, so you have the ability to influence people. You must firmly instill within them an ethic of love, a realization that God, Yahweh, is love itself, always will be. Love for all human beings, love for all of the planet, animals, plants, earth, non-human beings. If you preach this ethic and faith of love, and ethic and faith of building God's kingdom here on earth, that is a kingdom of inclusivity, a kingdom of sharing, a kingdom of welcoming, a kingdom of altruism, a kingdom of love here and now. That is what will move your communities forward and the communities of all humanity and of Earth itself.
So what do you say about Zionism?
It's a doctrine built on fear and a doctrine built on separation. It's a doctrine built on the idea of a certain community being entitled to more or deserving of more than other communities. It is not a way of thinking that will move communities forward. It is a mindset based in scarcity, a mindset based in fear, a mindset based in separation. We need to start dissolving the boundaries between religious groups, realizing that there are not Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists. There are just human beings who are capable, all human beings, of communing with God, with Source, with universal love. And we do not need to divide ourselves into these groups. We do not need to fight over land. We do not need to say that one group or another group is more deserving of land than any other group. The earth is here for all of us equally.
So now I have a different question. So when someone is, let's say, watching this recording, and they will say, how can I know this is the words from Moses?
Worry not so much about whether or not this is Moses, and worry more about whether or not the message resonates with you. Ask yourself if it seems true, because the messenger does not matter. It does not matter if I am Moses, or if I am Jesus, or if I am Buddha, or if I am Krishna, because they are all the same. They are all messengers of the one Source, the one God, the All.
So, what do you say to the people in Israel right now when they're having this conflict with Iran?
Again, it is a conflict that is based in fear-based reasoning, an ethos of attachment, an ethos of revenge and fear. Those are low vibrational, and it is not just Israel. There are plenty of other nations, including the United States, who are operating based on these vibrations and these fear-based, revenge-based beliefs. These will never be sustainable in the long run. They may give you short-term gratification. They may make you feel better and safer in the short term. They do not lead to a higher consciousness. They do not lead to unity. They do not lead to the version of reality in which human beings are dissolving these barriers that we've placed not only between religious groups, but also between countries. We need to stop seeing people as members of different countries and instead understand them as human beings, as members of a human community, as members of an interspecies community, as citizens of Earth. It is very important in the years to come for people of all nationalities from all different places to stop thinking about themselves as citizens of a particular country and start thinking about themselves as citizens of Earth and members of an intergalactic community.
Do you have any messages for the society in general leading up to open contact?
If you follow the advice that I have given, this will put you on the path towards open contact. It is imminent. If you continue down a road of fear, of separation, of violence, of vengeance, of worrying about what's mine and what's yours, that will put you down a path of shifting into a reality in which open contact does not occur. Turn to a vibration of love, turn to a vibration of inclusivity, of connection, of thinking about yourselves as a human race living on planet Earth among many other living, loving species, and that will pave the path for open contact.
Would you say that if one person, let's say, acts out of love more than they did before, that vibration or that act of love or service will also inspire others to do the same? So there's like ripple effect?
Absolutely.
So again, what was the reason that you came to Earth 18,000 years ago?
Particular spirit of Moses came to Earth 18,000 years ago to help establish God's kingdom on Earth, the Source's kingdom on Earth. But it's the universal Source, the one, the all, It is not something that's here for any particular group more than another.
And then you created these three beings as the origin of Jewish people: Rabbanan, Lydia, and Dina. What is the purpose of that?
To build the Jewish empire on earth, but like all human empires, its original purposes eventually became distorted through human beings and the desires of human beings.
So how do ETs look at Earth and human beings?
I don't understand the question.
Do you see, on Earth and human beings as souls that are sort of still trying to find their way? Is it something that a lot of ETs are keeping a watch on because it's such a big, exciting event that Earth is about to experience?
We have been monitoring your progress for many years, and there are many things that could only happen in their specific timing. You have reached a time in your consciousness, in your technologies, in your understanding of yourselves and each other, that you are ready for the information that you are not alone as the only intelligent species in the universe. And so we are continuing to monitor your consciousness. We are continuing to see the energy that you put out. And those of you who are ready to step into an understanding of yourselves as members of an interspecies, intergalactic community will experience open contact. Some souls may choose through the energies that they put out to experience a version of Earth that does not go through open contact, and that is what is meant for them on their path at this particular moment.
So this moment leading up until open contact on a linear timeline, is there anything that you can sort of let us know about? For example, will there be sightings in major cities, or will light orbs representing ET energy be spotted more often where all spirit guides kind of show up?
All of these things may occur. There is a high likelihood that some ET craft will be parking over the oceans or on the coasts, so you can view them over the water, extended in periods of time, so that you can get used to the presence of ETs.
Is Coney Island Beach one of the possible sighting places? Are there any places you can let us know about?
Coney Island is possible, as are a wide number of other areas on the East Coast, but certainly off the coast of New York City is a high likelihood that these events, also Jones Beach, is a high likelihood.
Mm-hmm.
So just as another example, so hybrids would also integrate themselves into society. Will they also be sort of showing up to get human beings to get more used to the presence, like the hybrid that Naomi and I saw seen before?
There may be more hybrids the hybrids that are here now, it's mainly for them to get used to being here and interacting with human beings. There will be a formal introduction of the hybrids in the open contact process to make people aware of their presence.
I'm very curious of this one, but that specific hybrid that Naomi and I ran into, what was his purpose, if you could tell us?
I cannot give information beyond that he was here to integrate and get used to understanding what it is like to be on Earth and be among human beings.
So if we go up to him and say hello, will he...
He will know his identity to you, but he will practice social interactions with you.
So can we help him in that sense?
Yes.
So most likely we are ready for this contact in 1 or 2 years.
It will be the first major will be happening in about 2 years. For those who are ready will shift into a different timeline.
So they will not be able to see.
Correct.
So for example, if one person is ready, but their close family and friends are not, will they just experience a reality where they go to reality where their friends and family are, or are they going to experience like a sense of from them?
There may be people who fade out of your contact circles as you shift into a different timeline. It is not something drastic where suddenly people in your life will disappear. Mm-hmm. It's also, there are different versions of your family members. Yeah. So the versions of them that are ready for contact will shift into the timeline with you.
Right. I'm asking this because I see a huge difference in my mom. But I'm pretty sure she's doing the work herself.
She will end up at the place that she's meant to be.
I would love to sort of change the topic about sort of like my cats, if I have like a little soul with each one of them.
You have a soul contract with all of the people and animals who you are close with in your life. Source or God then individuates into many different types of beings. So I am source energy that has been represented in beings like Jesus, like Moses, like Krishna, like Buddha. Many of these ascended masters, these human teachers, were parts of the same oversoul.
I see.
They have energetic connections between them.
I see. I understand. And I can invite you again in the future.
Of course.
Very good. And thanks again. And I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.